All praise, glory, and honor is due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruchakudash. Double honors to my elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Want to say peace, safety, much love and blessing to the Akim across the four corners of the earth that are pushing out this truth and sincerity and putting their lives on the line to do so. I want to say shalom to you, brothers. I'm the brother Iraq out of GMS Atlanta, back in the spirit with another lesson. And Lord willing, the lesson be edifying to an elect member or two. I'm going to title this lesson somewhere along the lines of just because you're young doesn't mean that you have to be a liability, or don't let your youth cause you to be a liability. I put it that way. Don't let your youth cause you to be a liability. All right. And I just want to start with a simple Google definition of the word liability. And I'm going to key in on the number 2 definition here. It says a person or thing whose presence or behavior is likely to cause embarrassment or put one at a disadvantage. All right. Most importantly, I want to deal with a person's presence or behavior putting others at a disadvantage, others around them. Okay, because things were written aforetime, were written for our learning, which I'm going to use the words of the Apostle Paul as he wrote to the churches. All right. I'm going to hit 1 Corinthians, 2 Thessalonians, 1 Timothy, and go through a few precepts, Lord willing. This lesson is exhorting and also edifying. Okay. First scripture I'm going to get is 1 Timothy 4 and 12. I'm going to read it in the KJV and then in the BBE translation. This is 1 Timothy 4 and 12. It says, "Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers in word, in conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, in purity." Okay. In the BBE, "Let no man make little of you because you are young." Okay. So if men are making excuses for you, oh, that brother, he'll be all right, he's still young, you're supposed to take that as an insult, really. All right. You're not supposed to let a person make little of you because you're young. Just because you're young in age, you can still be one that has their shit together. All right. Has a job, has a vehicle, has savings. All right. Having a roof over your head and your family's head. All right. Just being available to give charity. You're not able to do that. Okay. If you're a liability, a person that always needs something, a brother that always need a ride, a brother that always needs some funds. All right. Brother always finished, and he's using his youth as an excuse for that to be okay. All right. That's not what this thing is about. Just because you're young in age, you're supposed to be on the level, man, spiritually, all right, emotionally, mentally, because you are a prophet of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and we're an example for those sheep that are lost, okay, that is looking for guidance. If we're supposed to be leaders and we're supposed to be in a power seat of the nation of Israel, how will we lead in a manner that's effective for the nation if we're a liability ourselves? Okay, it's impossible. So I'm gonna continue reading 1 Timothy 4 and 12 in the BBE. It says, "Let no man make little of you because you are young, but be an example to the church in word, in behavior, in love, in faith, and in holiness." Okay. And especially if, men don't have jobs. All right. Not just the young men. The apostle put out a decree a few years ago that any man in GMS is supposed to be working. Okay. So if you don't have a job, you should be striving towards getting one. And in saying that, if you're praying to the Lord to provide a job for you, he may throw your job that's not necessarily down the block from you. Okay. It may not be a mile or two away. It may not be on the public transportation line, but he's giving you that job that you prayed for to see if you're going to make sacrifices in order to not be a liability, and just putting you in an uncomfortable position to see how you move. Or are you only going to make some shake when it's convenient for you or is readily accessible? Men got to start making sacrifices, and I'm speaking to the younger brothers specifically. Okay, don't let your youth be an excuse for you to be a liability. Okay, this is the book of First Corinthians, because the Apostle Paul, he dealt with a lot of different personalities, just like we do in camps. There's men from all walks of life, So he wrote these epistles to these different churches because he had different things going on throughout the churches that needed to be addressed and corrected. So that's why we revert back to the scriptures, all right, and handle certain things that we may come across in the camps according to the things that were written by our forefathers, okay, which were written for our learning, as I quoted at the beginning of the lesson. So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 11. It says, when I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. And the thing that really makes you become a man, is not really your age. It's the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and coming into the truth when you really become a man and know what being a man is about. All right. And being a man is about sacrifices. All right. Being a man is about working. Being a man is about being an example. All right. Because let's say, for an example, if you're not being a liability to the brother or the man around you, whoever you're around, somebody is having to pay for your food if you're not working. Somebody is having to pay for your transportation, or somebody is having to take their transportation and transport you, which causes them to burn gas. You're not able to provide gas money, or whatever the case. If it's not a brother, it's whoever's you're around. Let's say you stay with your family. Somebody is providing electricity for you. Somebody's putting food on the table for you to eat, so on and so forth. And when you become a certain age, I know it personally, your family in the world, they begin to become fed up with you, and they want you to grow up, and rightfully so. All right, you got to start making grown up decisions and stop making childish decisions. So I'm going to read this again, 1 Corinthians 13 and 11. It says, when I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. So your understanding has to be on a different level, man. When you come into the truth, you have to be on the level of understanding, or you just walking around here like everyday Jake, man, with their head in the clouds and their head up their ass, all right? Or you're a brother that or get a job and either quit or get fired before you have something else set up to move along or move on to sustain yourself, all right, which isn't wise in itself, But, don't let your youth be an excuse for you to be a liability, okay? It says, I thought as a child. Your thought pattern has to change. You got to start thinking like a grown man, all right? You got to start rewiring your brain to think like a man. And hey, once you get a certain level, gain a certain level of independency, and you start to move throughout the world on your own, it's like a weight lifted off your shoulder when you really don't have to answer to really nobody but Yahweh Shemi outside and move according to his will, okay? You ain't got to sneak around and try to do lessons at the house. You ain't gotta be scared to allow brothers to come over and fellowship. It's just a certain level of freedom that comes with getting out on your own and getting things for yourself as being a man. Okay. Finish this out. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. So if you consider yourself a man, all right, a man of the Lord, then you got to put away those childish things and think like a man of the Lord. Okay. Last and final precepts. 2 Thessalonians 3 and verse 10. I'm going to read it in the KJV, and then I'm also get it in the BBE. 2 Thessalonians 3 and 10, it says, "For even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat." Okay? In the BBE. 2 Thessalonians 3 and 10, "For even when we were with you, we gave you orders, saying, if any man does not work, let him not have food." All right, so I'm going to leave it there. Don't let your youth be an excuse for you to be a liability, okay? All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying and also exhorting. I'm going to end it giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ruchakudah, Shalom.